Good evening, everybody. November 15th, 2021. Taking a look at Bitcoin here, and we've now at least taken some of the scenarios off of the table with this move downwards. This obviously is certainly not doing a diagonal up. Even up to last night, I was a little bit unclear. This action, it obviously broken the line there, but was continuing to kind of chop up and maybe try to get back above it. That has certainly been taken off the table now. So that is a good thing. We can get rid of that and get rid of this red box. We're going to get rid of that 5 count there. All right, and so what we're left with then is essentially, these are all little micro ABCs in here. I'm going to delete them just to clarify things here. All right, because essentially what we have now is an A, B, C upwards, like so, within a larger X wave. We have an A, B, C down, which is in orange there. We have an A, B, C up, which I'm going to put in orange and make the same here for consistency. Okay, so ABC, ABC, and now we should be making ABC down within Y. Okay, and so this is going to form as a corrective pattern as a W, X, Y to actually give us 2, right? Previously we were thinking 2 might be done here because we got a proper ABC down, but the action off the lows was really sloppy, and I said the entire time, like, this is not how we should be starting off our third wave. It really did not look good for that. And so I was kind of hoping for it to come back down at some point. Even here, I thought maybe we'll come back down now and retest 58, but it wanted to take a major detour up here and give us this really high X wave, and now we're getting a lower Y. So the question is, where is Y done, right? And last night, I went over the possibility that we have our A, it was topping out in a B, which in fact it did, and then we got our C down in the Y, which is here. Okay, so that is still a possibility that we're just getting ABC down, and anywhere within this it can be done. It may already be done already. And this is now sufficient for me to say we could be done at any time. Like, this could in fact be the bottom, and we may get an impulse up off the lows now. That'd be fine, right? We could, however, still continue downwards anywhere within this green box, or even this larger one here, the larger green box, anywhere within there. And the closer that we get to 58K, the more confident I'm going to be that the bottom is soon in, right? So right now, bottom could be in. If it presses lower, I'll be even more confident that the bottom is in then. And then the gold standard that we need to see is a 5-wave move up, right? So if this is going to be the bottom now, it needs to prove it by giving us some sort of 5-wave that follows the proper Fibonacci levels. Okay, once that's in place on a micro scale, right? If we can get 5 waves up, somewhere, it doesn't even matter where it goes really, but we get a 5-wave up somewhere, and then a micro pullback from there, that would be the ideal situation then to say that we are going up, right? So like I said, I don't know if that's going to happen right now or if it's going to go a little bit further down. I'm hoping we don't break below 58 because that complicates things a little bit further. It makes this start to look like 5 waves down, potentially instead of 3, which isn't great, and potentially starts playing into this larger diagonal, which I was afraid we would go into, and would mean that the top is somewhere around 100K rather than potentially the higher targets we were looking at before, right? So anyway, we've got to see where this actually bottoms out. Like I said, it could be done, or it could come down further, but 58K is, I think, kind of key here. If we stop right around 58, we can still then call this an impulse. We can still get an impulsive move up from here in the next wave, and then still keep our like 150 to 200K targets on the table. But if we start breaking down below 58K, or if we fail to get an impulse off of these lows and instead get more just choppy crap action that kind of takes us sideways to this diagonal before pumping, then we are very likely just in this diagonal channel to end, and that leaves us with 80 to 100K targets instead. So not, I'm certainly not saying that Bitcoin is not bullish long term. It still is. Even 80K from here is almost a 50% gain. That's we're going to 90K would be a 50% gain from here. So we still are bullish, of course. It's just a matter of how bullish are we. So let's see, for argument's sake, I'm gonna have to change this then to, hang on, this fib that I have drawn here is supposed to go, locked, supposed to go from wave 1 to wave 2, and technically this is not the bottom of 2. Technically that's just a W. Here's our X and here's our Y. So wherever this bottoms, that's actually gonna pull our fib up a little bit there. So potentially we may even see higher levels if we've already bottomed. That projects to like 150 to 170K. If we have bottomed already, and if it gives us an impulse off the lows. So there's certainly work to do still, but wherever this ends up bottoming is where we'll put that new fib, and we'll call that the end of that second wave at that point in time, and then we'll look higher for the targets then. So, and realistically, whatever low we strike here, we should see the first wave within it. Like, we'll see a micro 5 wave up. I said it didn't really matter for this micro 5 wave, wherever that goes is great, and then a 3 wave down. But the larger wave should take us to either the 382 of this move or the 618 in order to keep this impulsive before seeing a 3 wave move back down from there. So like if it gets us up, if it has bottomed and it gets us up to 73 and then pulls back to 68, that's a pretty good buying opportunity. And we've also got obviously this horizontal support there at that point. The other possibility, of course, would be it extends a little bit further, and we might be able to tell based on when we get a micro impulse up if we can get up to the 618 and then do a pullback to the 382. Again, that would then be a pretty decent place to buy, right around 74K or so. If we reject 83 and come back down to 73, that's a decent place to long as well. If you want to wait for more confirmation. But for now, I'm just going to be watching even down onto like a 5-minute or 15-minute chart. Once we get an initial indication that the bottom is in, we should see, like I said, a micro 5 wave up of some description. And we really should see it break above this B wave high, the B wave within Y. So we should see 5 waves up to above 66.4. If we can see that, then I can be a little bit more confident saying bottom's in, and the next pullback after that is potentially a good longing or buying opportunity. And obviously this green box I have on here, where it is right now, this is all a fairly good place to accumulate as well. We just have a little bit more danger in this region because we can drop further down, and it does still have the possibility of dropping significantly further down to get to that diagonal as well. So, lightly longing here or accumulating in this zone if you don't already have a large enough spot bag is not necessarily a bad idea. But I would wait to get aggressive on it until we get at least that micro 5 up, like I said. Okay, so I think that pretty much sums it up. Like I said, it kind of clarifies some things here, which is great news. And we'll just be waiting for this micro 5 up to give us our indication that we are back in the bull mode here, right? And I'm quite happy with this because this action was crap, and this allows us to reset that and start again. So should be good news in the long run for Bitcoin, even if it presses down a little further here. All right, everybody, that is it for tonight. Good night.